Welcome back to DC Fridays, where we bring you a compilation of a couple of comic books that came out last week. We tell you what's going on in current comic books and hopefully get you excited about it. Today we're going to be looking at the expansion of the Justice League, a speedster that is lost in time, aka Wally West. Nightwing with a billionaire's fortune, and a little independent book known as Crossover. This is the Comicstorian channel, where I take some of your favorite trade paperbacks and single issues, and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I read them dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. Like I said, today on our DC Compilation Friday video, we're going to be doing Justice League issue 60, Flash 769, Nightwing 78, and Crossover issue number 1. Let's get into that first storyline, Justice League. Now, when we last left off, a villain known as Brutus crossed through the multiversal barrier to battle against the heroes of Earth, only to discover that he underestimated them as he ended up fighting Black Adam and Superman, and he fled. The character of Naomi was then brought in because she foresaw the end of the Justice League. Let's go ahead and see where we left off with Black Adam and Naomi. As the skies begin to darken over the forest of Port Oswego, Oregon, Black Adam pulls down his hood, telling the young Naomi that they must talk. One of Naomi's friends asks if that is, and Naomi tells them that they need to run away and don't look back. Naomi's friend Anna says that she isn't going anywhere, but before Naomi could even explain the severity of this situation, there is a blue and red blur and suddenly they're all alone. A short distance away as we catch up with the blur, Black Adam yells to Superman to unhand him! What are you even doing here? Superman stops and tells him that the Kahndaq Science Council traced Brutus's energy here. But before the two of them could really go into details, Naomi flies up asking what the hell was that? Superman tells her that Black Adam and he have a checkered past, but it might seem that they're both here for the same reason. And that is that they need her help. Naomi asks, Superman and Black Adam? And Black Adam asks, where is she from? Who are you to Superman that he would dare risk laying his hands upon me to protect you, girl? Naomi stutters for a moment as Superman says, it's okay, they all need to hear this. So later at the Hall of Justice, Naomi sits down telling them, well, I only recently found out that I was adopted by, well, I was sent here from another Earth, a place that was destroyed by people with powers, just completely devastated. Superman asks, what do you mean exactly by people with powers? Naomi says, well, I don't really know, but you know, powerhouses. There was a war and I also found out that my power is pretty big, not to brag or anything. Hawkgirl asks, who's the bad guy's name? And Naomi goes on. Zombato was my bad guy's name. He killed a bunch of other powered people and took over my world and ruined it. And then when he heard that I was here, he came looking for me and instead found this whole new Earth. I kicked him back to his world, but he said that he was coming back to take everything. An image of Brutus appears and Aquaman asks, have you seen this man? Naomi tells him, no, she hasn't. Batman asks, you saw this world yourself, this world devastated by superpowered people? Briefly, I did, yeah, Batman. Sounds like Zombato may have gotten the word out about our world. But while they all try to figure out the reason for Brutus appearing, Black Canary points behind her asking, so we're not going to talk about that? The rest of you can see Black Adam standing over there, right? Superman tells the group, Black Adam's country of Kahndaq was the attack's target. He is our guest until we pool resources. Can we have a word, Batman? Once Black Adam and Naomi are away, Aquaman says, look, I'm not sure that Black Adam has to be here. Superman wants to invite him into the Justice League. Black Canary shouts, really? On our roster? Superman pauses. Why not? There's been over a dozen times recently that I've been called to a real emergency only to get there and discover that Black Adam has already taken care of the situation. Green Arrow chimes in, look, we all agreed on different perspectives and experiences on this team, and you seem to want to rise to that occasion. Black Adam has lived a long, long life. Longevity brings perspective. This could be the start of a big, bold, new chapter in his life. But while they all discuss the matter, they notice that Naomi is jumping up and down, waving her arms a level below. Black Canary says that it looks like the kid needs to use the restroom, and Batman tells her, no, Brutus is back. A few moments later, over in Central City, Hippolyta stands in the smoking crater. Flash asks if this is the Queen of the Amazons, and what is she doing here? Where did Brutus go? Where did he fly off to? I think he retreated back to his world, Soups. Hippolyta asks, his world? And Flash asks, did he say anything before leaving? Hippolyta recalls the event, stating that Brutus appeared on their island rather suddenly. All she heard him stating was much better. As the Amazons attacked, she led the charge, knocking Brutus away and continuing the pressure. When he realized he was outnumbered, he attempted to flee and he opened up a portal. She went through, and she followed. When he struck her, it was the hardest that she's been hit in a very long time. Before leaving again, he said that Zombato was right. This place is totally worth fighting for. And once he knew that others were coming, he left so that he could prepare. As the rest of the league catches up, they start to come down when Hippolyta glares, asking, "What is he doing here?" Black Adam steps out of the aircraft with the Superman telling her, "Black Adam is working with us. This could very well be a grand opportunity for all of us to work together." Hippolyta scoffs, keeping her opinions to herself as she leaps away. Black Adam says, "I've always found her to be a most impressive warrior." Batman gets to work surveying the area, telling them that he can work with this. It might be possible to cut off the connection that they have here. The multiverse here reads one way. You can actually chart it like a map. Brutus's world cannot. Black Canary asks if they're really going to physically go over there and tell Brutus to stay off our lawn. Naomi asks if they can go to her birth world, and Superman tells her, "Could you take us there?" She chimes in asking if they want her to lead this. And Hawkgirl pulls back her mace, telling her, no, Brutus reacted strongly to the nth metal inside. They wanted to see if Naomi would. So, based on the readings the Flash has given to Batman, he has built a device that will take them to Naomi's world. So as everyone returns, Flash puts the finishing touches on his 9-man cosmic treadmill, telling them all that for this to work, that he has to stay behind and run the engine, so to speak. There's also a beacon signaling as to when it's time to come home, so make sure not to miss it. Naomi steps up again, asking what are they going to do? And Black Canary tells her to hold on to the bar. While the machine is prepped, Green Arrow asks if there's anything that they need to know, and she tells them that the entire planet was destroyed by superpowers. All of those left are not the ones who won this horrible planet-ruining superpower war. They're the worst of the worst. So Flash begins to run and tells everyone that this is their last chance if they have to go to the bathroom. Is everyone good? Batman asks if he double-checked, and Flash tells him triple-checked. Then one more time because he knew that he'd ask. He starts to run and the machine begins to activate and everyone braces themselves, and Naomi closes her eyes, and when she opens them, no one's there. Superman? Batman? Guys? Where is everyone? Now, at the end of this Justice League book, there's a little short story known as Justice League Dark. Today is the part of the new beginning of it, as we discover a new leader. As everyone gathers around the table, Superman says that he has concerns about this. Flash asks if they can just skip to the part where they teach by example. It's really inspiring. Superman says that he doesn't want this to be that. He wants to learn. And Hawkgirl asks, wasn't he already on the team before? Etrigan yells, "Ha ha! Listen to yourselves! Jason Blood insisted I deliver this forewarning. I care not if it is beyond your reckoning. Merlin has returned to the place, and my charge is of heaven and hell. I ask no permission if you'll not join, then fare thee well!" Batman stands, telling them, it's a magical threat, and if Zatanna thinks that this is the best way to move forward, then she takes lead, and I'd be comfortable with that. Zatanna pauses, I don't really think I'm the right person to lead the Justice League Dark. You defeated a trans-dimensional entity made real by pure belief. You were the one who found the fatal law. Zatanna looks away. I wouldn't have done that without Wonder Woman leading, Superman tells her. Diana is gone. She would be proud to see you lead this team. Green Arrow decides to chime in with his wit. You know, I don't see what all the fuss is about. Sounds like we're up against an old man with a glow stick and a pointy hat. Yeah, this isn't some magician. This is the magician. Enough of a threat to make heaven and hell send a big demonic warning. We should probably take that seriously. The stories speak of Merlin sleeping for ages between his appearances through time. But I've heard of a different story. Bored with humanity, Merlin wandered for centuries, farther and longer, returning only when he found something of interest. As for being the good guy, when you've wandered so far from the rest of us, good, bad, reckon it all starts to look the same. Meanwhile, at the page-by-page bookstore, Merlin walks in and Elias looks over. Mr. Willett, I take it? Merlin tells him, Mr. Wilt, please. Sorry to have given you such a short notice. Elias tells him it's no problem at all. It's not every day that one has the pleasure of doing business with a collector such as himself. And here it is, the largest collection of note and manuscripts of George Luis Borges, including the L. Jordan collection as requested. As Merlin takes the manuscripts and begins to flip through, Elias says that he must be a fan of his work. And Merlin asks, oh no, I haven't had a chance to read one of his stories. Elias tells him that that is curious. When you said you wanted to check them without asking the price, I just imagined. Merlin looks back as his eyes glow red. Oh, no. I have no interest in possessing these stories at all. My interest is seeing them set free. As Merlin begins to chant something, the horrors from the page begin to creep out. Back at the Hall of Justice, the meeting finishes with Batman asking Etrigan if he can have a word. Etrigan says, "They ask as if I know what are Merlin's moves to be made. I tell them I know not his mind, but he must have the tools of his trade. The chimp thinks that he knows where he must begin." Batman tells him that he spoke for him and the rest of the team back there because of Zatanna. She needs this. To know that she can lead, to inspire. He owes it to her father. So whatever happens with them and Merlin, if they do anything to undermine Zatanna, if they hurt her in any way, I'm coming for you. Etrigan leans in. Are you threatening me, knowing full well no burglar or thug? I am a demon of hell! And Batman turns to him. And I am Batman! And he leaves. Over at the bookstore, Rory walks in with a large box, calling to Elias, asking if he's there. There are a bunch of those first editions in here, but as he looks over, he sees vines growing from one of the books. And as he takes a closer look, he sees giant man-like vultures eating Elias. Rory reaches into his sleeve, pulling out his costume. Come, Vladimir, Hunter's soul. A few more kills and I will hold your debt paid. Once transformed, Rory begins to charge in as Ragman. And now we have Flash 769. When we last left off with Flash, Wally decided to give up his powers as a Flash, and he was going to give them to Barry. But they discovered that the Speed Force was weakening, and it pulled Wally West into the time stream, depositing him into the body of other speedsters. He dealt with a Speed Force Raptor, and then he found himself in the future in the body of Impulse. As Barry Allen, aka The Flash, reaches out from underneath the computer, he asks Green Arrow to hand him the multimeter. Mr. Terrific says that the thermocouplers are attached, T-spheres are ready, and Green Arrow hands the Flash the multimeter and asks, "So, what are we doing again?" Flash runs out of the computer, stating that Wally has somehow been swept away by the Speed Force, and he's been thrown into another Speed Force conduit, which is how Mr. Terrific and he found Wally in the first place. If they can get an audio signal out, they're guessing that they can get a visual one to Wally. Green Arrow says, right. So how did you settle to get your speed powers again, Barry? Because you lost them when you were trying to help Wally. And Flash says, well, I didn't get them back precisely. After the Speed Force dinosaur exploded, I felt my connection to the Speed Force re-emerge. It's not strong, but I'll take what I can get. Mr. Terrific then says that Wally has really been converted into pure Speed Force energy. This should catch that energy and transmit back the visual cues from the host that he is currently inhabiting, aka Impulse. Green Arrow then tries to understand all of this. So, like a TV. And Mr. Terrific tells them that that is a terrible oversimplification of what they're doing, but in concept, yes. Flash flips the switch and says, let's just see if this works. And Wally can be heard. Well, that's new. Flash asks him what's new. And Wally says, nothing. Meanwhile, in the future, Gold Beetle runs towards him yelling, Impulse, run! And as Gold Beetle tackles who she thinks is Impulse, Wally asks, what's with the giant hand? And Gold Beetle says, real funny, Bart! Whatever you did to that Dominator made it grow to the size of Gore Kong. Wally tries to run, but he notices that his speed powers aren't working, and he begins to yell out, what's wrong? Gold Beetle tells him that that would be the power dampener that the tall, ugly thing slapped on his neck. Luckily, once they get to the ground, they'll be able to remove it. So Wally shouts, by the time we hit the ground, we're gonna be dead! And Gold Beetle tells him, it's okay, go limp, it'll hurt less. Before Wally could even ask, the two fall into the gold bug, and Gold Beetle tells Beats that she appreciates the save. Flash asks if Wally's alright, and Wally tells him that he's fine, maybe? Once the two sit down, Gold Beetle says that she knows that he always says that a Flash runs towards danger, but whatever he did this time really bent the space-time continuum out of shape. Before he says, but, GB, this Dominator killed my dad. She gets it. But if they don't want to break the timeline again, he better be more careful. Flash asks who's speaking, and Wally says, I have no idea. So Flash says to Wally again, she looks like both of, you know. In any case, you might be better off on your own, Wally. We don't know. But Gold Beetle says, wait, who the heck is Wally? And Flash asks, wait, did you hear me? Gold Beetle laughs. Of course I did. I just needed to adjust the head net settings that I got from the 853rd century to whatever wavelength Mr. Nasally is using. And Plaxo Naxo, I can hear everything you're saying. Wait a minute. Holy crack noise! Wally, as in Wally West? It's me, Gold Beetle, Queen of the Quantum Realm, Wave Rider Warrior, Tiara of Time, the... Wally stops her. Right, the blue and the gold. Time traveler. It's, nice to meet you? Oh, is this your first time meeting me? Wow, you said this would be dangerous, and hey, you were right, Wally, but you're the captain, so... Wally stops her. Wait, Captain, we work together? You must be confused because when I get home, I'm retiring. That is hilarious. You have like 5 more crises to get through. We've gone on loads of adventures like galactic space races but just then Beats tells her that she should probably remember the time rules and not divulge too much information if this is his first time meeting her. She pauses. Yeah. But why are you inside of Impulse? Where's Impulse? Beats says that Bart's conscious self was probably sublimated when Wally was transferred inside. There are no tachyon particles, so this isn't the time travel. Flash stops. Okay, we think the Speed Force is, well, hurt, and it might be using Wally to fix it, Gold Beetle. Gold Beetle thinks for a moment. Okay, I have an idea. Beats, access 30 seconds pre-point of chronal disturbance without outlying chamber. A screen pops up showing Impulse being ambushed by the Dominator when suddenly he releases a burst of Speed Force energy. Wally says that the Speed Force looks for conduits at their weakest point. It's like a leak in the fuel line causing fuel pressure to drop. That looks like what's happening when Impulse has the power dampener put on him. Flash says that would explain it. After they sealed the last leak, he could feel his powers returning as if the Speed Force was regaining its equilibrium. Gold Beetle interrupts everyone. Well, whatever it is, that must be what infected the Dominator and caused it to enter super bulk phase. Mr. Terrific stares at the visuals. The dinosaur gained super speed and the Dominator increased in size. Obviously, the Speed Force affects various physiologies differently. Flash stops him. Well, it would seem that that's the case, Mr. Terrific. But I'm worried about what happened to the dinosaur could happen to the Dominator, and it could cause a massive explosion. If we don't find a way to siphon off this energy, Wally asks, what about the device that Inertia tried to use? Do they still have that? The thing that Inertia tried to use to defeat Impulse. Flash stops him. Well, yeah, it's in the Speed Force lab. So Wally tells him that maybe if they put it in the time capsule, they could, and Gold Beetle asks, steal? I love heists. Best thing in the multiverse outside of Chacos. The one thing your era got right. Wally tells her that they aren't really stealing, could they just go to the Flash Museum? One short flight later, Gold Beetle says that there she is. The Flash Museum, the repository for all things Flash, including that doohickey that you were just talking about. One problem is that the museum is now designed specifically to keep speedsters out, since the only type of villains that attempt to break in are, well, that, as well as Bart. Wally says, okay, so how are we going to get in then? And Gold Beetle says the same way Bart has broken in 12 times, being impulsive. She flies her ship, crashing into the lobby, letting Wally out, and as he runs, he yells, "You are crazy!" And Gold Beetle laughs, "Ha ha! Crazy as a Targaryen fox!" A few seconds later, Wally returns with a bust of Jay Garrick, and Gold Beetle says, "You're just in time!" The two of them are then surrounded by several Flash androids telling them, "Halt, please remain until the authorities are alerted." Gold Beetle sighs, "Don't they know anything about speedsters? They can barely sit still." Wally, close your eyes. Wally does, asking, "What are you doing?" And suddenly there's a blinding light that begins to shine. All of the androids begin to state, "Ocular disruption, adjust settings, Corey missing, we have failed again." As the two begin to back off, Flash radios telling them, "Remember, do not turn on the device until I have placed it on the target. If we're right, it could siphon the Speed Force energy off, and then we'll be able to seal the leak." Wally asks what happens after that, and Flash goes on telling him, "We think that once it stops the leak, you'll be pulled to another conduit that's been weakened, provided that there are more leaks that need to be plugged." So wait, I'm gonna be bouncing from speedster to speedster until you stop all of the surges? Flash, is this Quantum Leap? Flash tells him that he was just swept away. The only thing that remained was his costume. Well, if his costume maintained its structure and his physical form disappeared, Mr. Terrific interrupts. "We're afraid that your consciousness is now non-corporeal." Wally realizes what this means. "Wait, I'm a ghost?" And Mr. Terrific says, "You're an energy being looking for a receptacle. All we have to do is..." Wally shouts, "I am not going to become an android. Do you know what my wife is going to do to me if she finds out? I might as well be a ghost because she's going to kill me." And for now, work on getting me my body back. I'm currently coming up on the target. You know what to do, right, Gold Beetle? She yells, "Yup, be impulsive!" And she flies the gold bug directly into the Dominator's head. Wally jumps out, running up to the Dominator's mouth, stating, "It's all up to you, Wally West, pitching for the Central City Diamonds, hoping for a perfect game." He winds up, "Here comes the pitch!" He throws the device into the Dominator's mouth, and the Dominator swallows, and within seconds, it begins to shrink. As Wily leaves it back onto the gold bug, Gold Beetle watches the news feeds of the Dominator being captured, stating that that's another win for the good guys. Flash then says that with the leak closed, Wally will be pulled back into the Speed Force stream. And Gold Beetle, that device that was inside of the Dominator, she'll need it back and she'll need to dispose of it. She laughs, "Of course I will. I will absolutely dispose of this thing." Wally laughs at her, and then suddenly he feels something, and Flash says that they are getting some strange readings. Wally tells him that it's working. He's starting to be pulled back, but before going, Gold Beetle jumps up, hugging him. "Thanks. I'm really gonna miss you. And when I do meet you for the real first time, don't do the thing with the stun discs, okay?" Wally smiles, "Sure?" Gold Beetle tells him that if he needs anything, just, cause a temporal disturbance. Wally pauses and thinks for a moment and then whispers something in her ear. And she tells him, yeah, she's got it. But as she holds Impulse, he asks, what's going on? I said before, I totally won't break time again. She continues hugging him, telling him, shh, she's having a moment. And a few moments later, Wally begins to blink and Flash asks what happened, where did he go? But all Flash can hear is Adolf Hitler yelling, "The American Übermenschen has been captured. The Spear of Destiny belongs to the Third Reich." Next up, it's time to get into Nightwing, issue 79. Now, last time in Nightwing, Dick Grayson went back to Bloodhaven, where he was trying to get his footing, figure out what was going on. And he was talking to Barbara Gordon as she presented him with Alfred Pennyworth's last will and testament, in which we discovered that Alfred Pennyworth was actually a billionaire, and he left all of that money to Dick Grayson. So now he doesn't really know what to do. He has zero need for the Bat Fortune. Let's pick up where we left off. Nightwing has spent his entire life working without a safety net, because he always had someone to catch him if he fell. First it was his parents, then his father, then his other father, then his friends, and then his brothers. Everyone needs someone to catch them when they fall, someone who makes them feel safe. But while Nightwing's new dog passes out from eating too much food, he looks at her empty bowl and says that he kinda wonders what it tastes like. Babs says that she's going to guess he hasn't eaten yet, so Nightwing tells her, "Nope, come on, I know a nice place nearby." So a short while later, they're at a 24-hour pizza place. Nightwing orders 2 slices, and Babs asks, "Really? You're a billionaire now." And Nightwing then decides to order 4 slices. But as they get their pizza, Nightwing says that there's a statue that he wants to show her. So the two head to the park, with the statue of a man fighting a giant sea creature. Nightwing says that Bloodhaven started as a small whaling town. This fountain was built back when people in the city believed that they could take on monsters and win. And as they sit, and they look in silence, Babs looks over asking if he's okay. He's unusually contemplative today. Nightwing says that he forgot who he was, and Babs tells him, well, sure. He was kind of shot in the head. Can't really fault him for forgetting who he was. Nightwing then asks, what did he leave behind though? What did he create that kept going when he was gone? What's so heroic about punching bad guys and then waiting to punch more? Babs says that there's more to it than that. He has saved lives, and pretty sure that he saved the world more than once. And it's not like he has confidence issues. He wears the tightest costume out of everyone in the group. Nightwing sighs. He looks down and he contemplates again. I want to do more, Babs. With everything that Alfred left me, I kind of can. I'm just not sure where to focus this. Babs says that he's one of the world's greatest problem solvers. So she's pretty sure that he'll work it out. But while the two begin to eat their pizza, a man with his son says that he's sorry to bother, but would they happen to have some spare change? Babs says that she really doesn't carry cash, and the man says that that's okay. Most people don't these days anyway. And Nightwing stops, and he stares for a moment. Hey, wait, let me buy you some food. Like lots of food, and whatever else you need. And invite friends, really, anyone who could use a meal. Don't hold back. So, a short time later at the pizza shop, the street is filled with all of Bloodhaven's drifters that could go for a bite to eat. 3 young kids ask if it's okay to take theirs to go, and Nightwing tells them of course. The man from before says that he can't thank them enough, and Nightwing smiles. It's really nothing, Martin. But as Nightwing gets ready to set up a hotel room for them, he notices that his pocket is a little lighter. He looks around and says, I think those kids stole my wallet. Don't tell Batman. Babs laughs. Too late, it's already in the group chat. Nightwing stares as his phone begins to ping rapidly. And as they leave, Babs says, "You might want to put that on silent." Cass has no self-control when it comes to emojis. But while Nightwing heads out to go back and get his wallet, Martin and his son begin to walk home when someone tells them that looks like some good pizza. Martin asks the person if they'd like a slice, and the figure tells them that it's more of a stab than a slice that he's after. Tell the kid to run. As an arm with a strange-looking gun creeps out of the shadow, Martin tells his son, Elliot, go back to the pizza shop and stay there. Everything's going to be okay. Once Elliot is gone, the person tells him, no, it's not going to be okay. Martin tells the person, please, I don't have anything, but the figure says, you have exactly what I'm looking for. As the trigger is pulled, a small mechanical arm shoots into Martin's chest and then quickly retracts. Martin looks at the fist-sized hole in his chest and the figure tells him, you had a heart. Elsewhere, Babs guides Nightwing towards the tracker that was in his wallet when she tells him to stop there and look around. He stands on top of the building looking into the crowd when he notices Salvatore Maroni meeting with a woman. Unknown to Nightwing, the woman that Maroni is meeting is actually Melinda Zuko, the soon-to-be new mayor of Bloodhaven. But while the two discuss their business, Nightwing sees the three kids from before walking by, spotting a wallet on the table, and one of them quickly pockets it. As Maroni's men catches them, they pull out their guns and they begin to run, but Nightwing rushes down, knocking them out. As he's going down, Nightwing tells Babs, we could have avoided all of this if we just stayed in and tried the kibble. Babs tells him, nah, this is far better. You can't beat the combination of pizza and taking out overconfident goons. Also, the wallet stopped 3 blocks back under the Nugent Bridge. Go after the kids, I'll call the police. As Nightwing jumps down onto a passing truck, he tells her that there's no point. They're Maroni's people, they won't even be charged. Babs tells him that those men were about to kill children. She's still calling. But while she does that, Nightwing hurries over to where the signal last pinged to find a tent city for the homeless people. But by the looks of it, a tent city where no one is over 16. As all of the children look at Nightwing, one of them asks if he is the man without a heart. Please don't hurt anyone here. Nightwing tells her, no, I'd never. Sorry. Just keep whatever it is you took. You need it more than me. A short while later at Nightwing's apartment, Babs says that he was right. The police did nothing. She has no idea how he can put up with this place. She then asks if he even got his wallet. He tells her no, but he knows what he wants to do with his money. And that is to be a safety net for this city. He wants to catch who's ever fallen in Bloodhaven. And that brings us to our final issue of today's compilation video. As you guys may know, we've been recently doing one indie issue every week, just to show you the broader scope of comic books, to show you things outside of DC and Marvel, and today we're going to be covering Crossover issue number 1. Now this book is brought to you by Donny Cates. He's the guy who did King in Black, he did the new Thor run, he's been an amazing writer for a little while now, and this is his indie attempt. Here we go, Crossover issue 1. In this time period, there is a common question being asked among the people. Who is more real, us or Superman? Now you'd want to say us, right? Of course you would. You're real, you walk around, you have friends, you affect change. But really, think about this. You, me, all of us. You'd do all of that, you'd live, love, grow, and, well, let's face it, relatively soon, we will all be gone. And even the most successful of you will never have made as much impact on this world as the fictional character, a Superman. So again, how is he less real than you? He has friends, he has a life. He has lived and died well before you were born, and he will be here long after you're gone. His existence affects change. And someday, well after you and I are gone, the human race will leave this world. And when we do, we're going to bring Superman with us. You see, he's permanent, and we are not. Stories, myths, legends, they are not fiction. They are a virus, and they are spreading. On January 11th, 2017, the skies above Colorado opened up, and what could only be described as a superhero summer event exploded into the very real world. According to the ground reports and footages, almost every fictional comic book character that you have ever heard of has been sighted amongst the chaos. You name it, from green men with fins on their head to men dressed as bats or spiders or gods with giant hammers. People have claimed to have seen them all in the footage. No one knows how. No one knows why. If it was a comic, It would be the greatest selling book of all time, but it wasn't a comic. This was real. Here, in the real world, a superhero mega summer event that has consequences. It's been here for years now, and we still don't have an accurate death toll, mostly because it's still happening. A few months into the crossover, one of the supers had the bright idea to put a force field around all of Colorado. As far as anyone knows, they're all still in there fighting and killing and destroying the world in the name of truth, justice, and, well, whatever. There's obviously a lot more to it, but let's get to the point, because honestly, this story isn't really about any of that. It's about her. A woman who is having a beer bottle thrown at her as she walks down the street and a man yells, "Traitor." This is Ellipses Howell, and she goes by Ellie. And yeah, Ellipses is a weird name. Her parents, they were both writers. They thought it sounded heroic, something like a Greek hero or similar. The Ellipses is the great unknown, they'd say. Those three little dots. But as Ellie finishes picking up her belongings, still wearing her costume, she looks up at a sign that reads, "God hates masks," and continues on. It should be noted, Ellie isn't very popular in this strange new world. These days, wearing cosplay and working at a comic shop is considered, by some of the more aggressively faithful types, to be a front on, well, everything. For Ellie, one of the last true believers, her mask and gloves and coat are kind of a suit of armor. Even though people tell her that she sells the devil's scripture, she likes to think that her cosplay protects her from a world where both fiction and reality are dead. And again, Ellie is only a part of this. Another is Otto. While Otto tells a customer that they won't be buying their government-approved, mandated corporate comics, he does it in a not-so-nice way. Ellie reminds him that the world already hates and fears them for the things that they love. This place is the only home a lot of them have left, so try and be a little nicer. Otto tells her that he knows he'll do better, and wait, hey, damn it, look! As Ellie looks at the computer screen of a young child hiding a comic in her jacket, Otto storms up yelling at the kid to stop right there. He grabs her. "This can be easy, or this can be..." And as he looks at her, and really everyone does, they see that the young girl is covered in dots, like she is straight out of a comic. This is Ava, and she's, well, not from around here. As everyone in the store sees, they all begin to panic, and they run out of the shop. A priest outside asks what's going on, and some of the people state that it's the comic book folk, the fakes with all the dots on them and everything. One of them is in there! Back inside, Otto yells to call the cops, but Ellie tells him that they're not calling the cops. This is just a kid, Otto. Ava says that she's sorry, but Ellie tells her, "No, it's okay. My name is Ellie. What's yours?" Outside, the priest turns to his son, telling him that there is a path to redemption laying before him, and if he wishes to repent for the affronts that he has committed against God and their family, then bring in this filth for the unholy idols that he has let corrupt his soul. He will act. The young boy says that he didn't even read it. He found a comic, and the priest holds out the comic book and a bottle filled with liquid and asks, "Do you crave redemption in the eyes of God?" But inside, Ellie talks to Ava asking, how did she get here? And Ava explains that there is a man. He takes people beyond the magic wall. Her parents are still inside. Ellie says it's okay. Her are too. And this man, who is he? Ava says that she's never heard his name, but she can draw him. However, before continuing on, the boy outside, yeah, that's Ryan Lowe. And even though he's about to set the whole comic store on fire with the burning comic bottle that he was given, this story is also about him. Kind of. As the bottle breaks through the window, it sets the entire store ablaze, forcing Ellie, Ava, and Otto to escape. Now this story, honestly, it really isn't about any of this. It's about believing in something when the whole world tells you that you're wrong. In fact, believe it or not, it's also a love story. And more than anything, more than superheroes or mega events or good guys and bad guys in the world gone crazy, this is a story about hope. And outside, as Ellie looks down at the drawing that Ava made, it shows a man with a cape and a big S on his chest. And there you guys have it. A little bit of a story called Crossover, which I'm a huge fan of, and I know quite a few of our viewers and readers are as well. This is a pretty cool book, and I'll link it down below if you want to see where this one is going, or you can let me know in the comments down below. Benny, you gotta do the next issue of Crossover. When it comes to these indie books, we haven't fully decided if we're going to do past issue 1, because if you were unaware, there is a lot of indie books every single week, and I'm just trying to tell you my favorites right now. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I'm sorry that it only had 2 DC books in it. It originally was going to have that Batman Fortnite crossover also in it, but I felt like it would be a great solo video to kind of bring some new viewers to our channel. So if you're one of those viewers, I hope you enjoyed this so far, and don't forget to click the link down below to see where the Flash story started and where the Nightwing story started. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for your continued support. Don't forget, if you go to our Patreon, patreon.com/Comicstorian, you can vote on the videos that are coming to this channel. The mini producer tier allows you to help pick out the next big full stories. You know, when we take 3 to 5 issues of a single storyline and put it all together. That's where you get to vote on that. That's where Dead Man Logan came from. That's where Batman Incorporated came from, and all of these other videos. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. Seriously, you really don't know how much this means to me, and I am honestly having so much fun doing these single issues. No longer do I have to stress about, oh, where am I going to release Nightwing, and how many issues should we wait on Nightwing, and what should we do about the Flash? Because you know what? We're just going to bring them all to you every week, and then later on down the road, I'll turn them into full stories. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you next time right here.